Hi everyone, welcome to Basic Science series. I'm your host Lokinder Kumar, and today we are going to discuss what is the relationship between COVID-19 and vitamin D. We are going to understand what are the different forms of vitamin D, how vitamin D is generated in our body, and what are the functions of vitamin D. As you all know that many healthcare workers, they are promoting vitamin D supplements for boosting our immune system. And there are many reports that are suggesting the role of vitamin D in COVID-19 infection. So in this presentation, we are going to understand what is the relationship between COVID-19 and vitamin D. We are going to understand the formation of vitamin D and what are the molecules or what are the molecular steps that are involved in the synthesis of active vitamin D molecule. Alright, before we move on to the presentation part, I have a quick request to make. If you are new to the channel, then please do subscribe to the channel and support my work. Your support makes a huge difference and motivates me to provide cost-free education to everyone around the world. With that note, let's jump on to the presentation part. All right, everyone, let's discuss what is the relationship between COVID-19 and vitamin D. Research evidence suggested that vitamin D functions to activate the innate immune system and reduce the adaptive immune system. Now, let's find out what is the key difference between innate and adaptive immune response against a pathogen. The innate immune system consists of physical barriers such as skin, mucous membranes, and various cell types like monocytes and macrophages. Cytokines as well as complements are also an important part of the innate immune system. In contrast to the adaptive immune response, the innate immune response is not specific to any foreign invaders. As a result, works quickly to destroy pathogen entered in our body. The key question is that how vitamin D is linked with infection. The simple answer is that the deficiency of vitamin D has been linked to increased risk or severity of viral infections, including HIV. Low levels of vitamin D appears to be a risk factor for other serious infections like tuberculosis. In addition to that, research supports that the vitamin D supplementation may slightly reduce the severity and risk of respiratory tract infections. More specifically, the research studies during COVID-19 pandemic raised concerns that as vitamin D deficiency is a risk factor in a respiratory tract infection, it is really important to consider the role of vitamin D in a respiratory tract infection. In addition to that, it is also suggested that incidence, severity, and outcomes of COVID-19 infection could be related with variations in vitamin D levels. There are several published reports of case series showing direct association between vitamin D deficiency and COVID-19 infection. The possible benefits by the vitamin D supplementation has been encouraged by various health professionals. However, there was insufficient evidence at the time to support taking vitamin D supplements specifically to prevent or treat COVID-19 infections. Health professionals recommended all people should continue to follow advice on daily vitamin D supplementation during the COVID-19 pandemic. All these facts and findings motivate us to know the functions of vitamin D in detail. Before understanding vitamin D, let's first understand what is a vitamin. A vitamin is an organic molecule that is an essential micronutrient. An organism needs a vitamin in small quantities for the proper functioning of its metabolism. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin and it helps in intestinal absorption of calcium, magnesium, and phosphate, and have multiple other biological effects on our body. In humans, the most important vitamin D compounds are vitamin D3, also known as cholecalciferol, and vitamin D2, which is ergocalciferol. The major natural source for humans is the synthesis of vitamin D in the lower layers of skin through a chemical reaction that is dependent on sun exposure. Cholecalciferol, that is vitamin D3, and ergocalciferol, which is vitamin D2, can be acquired from the diet and from supplements. Only a few foods, such as the flesh of a fatty fish, naturally contain significant amounts of vitamin D. In the US and other countries, cow's milk and plant-derived milk substitutes are fortified with vitamin D. Vitamin D from skin synthesis or from the diet is biologically inactive, means it has no function in this form. It needs activation. It is activated by two enzyme hydroxylation steps, the first in the liver and the second in the kidneys. As vitamin D can be synthesized in adequate amounts by most mammals, if exposed to sufficient sunlight, it is important to know that it is not essential, so technically not a vitamin. Instead, it can be considered as a hormone, with activation of vitamin D prohormone resulting in the active form, calcitriol, which then produces effect via nuclear receptor in multiple locations. Cholecalciferol is converted in the liver to 25-hydroxycholecalciferol and ergocalciferol is converted to 25-hydroxy-ergocalciferol. These two vitamin D metabolites, called 25-hydroxyvitamin D, can be measured in serum to determine a person's vitamin D status. Based on this information, the vitamin D deficiency can be detected in any patient. 25-hydroxycholecalciferol is further hydroxylated in the kidneys to form calcitriol, also known as 1,25-dihydroxycholecalciferol. It is the biologically active form of vitamin D. Calcitriol then circulates as a hormone in the blood, having a major role in regulating the concentration of calcium and phosphate as well as magnesium and promoting the healthy growth and remodeling of bone. Calcitriol also has other biological effects, including cell growth, neuromuscular functions, immune functions, and reduction of inflammation. Vitamin D has a significant role in calcium homeostasis and metabolism. Its discovery was due to the effort to find the dietary substance lacking in children with rickets. Vitamin D is certainly an important compound for our body. It is important for proper functioning of the body and the immune system to protect ourselves from COVID-19. Our daily requirement of vitamins and nutrients must be supplemented in order to keep our body fully functional. Our body is a complex system and requires multiple mixtures of micro as well as macronutrients. So if you want to keep yourself healthy and fit, please try to have a balanced diet. With this note, I conclude this presentation and I hope the video was helpful for you to understand the basics of vitamin D. If you like the video, please hit the like button. I'll see you in the next video where I'll bring new topics related to the COVID-19. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, then please do subscribe to the channel and show your support. Your subscription makes a huge difference and motivates me to provide cost-free education to everyone around the world. Thank you and take care.